Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Grower Coach. Ken Salvail here today looking at Rockin' Blue Salvia. This is an incredible plant and you can see how big it is. It's in a pot, it's a couple feet off the ground here in the pot, but these things get to be quite huge in the containers. This one's growing in sort of dappled sun, so it's part sun, part shade. And you can see the bees are just happy. There's a little bee right here, a little bumblebee doing its thing. And just kind of a fun plant. You know, the pollinators love this thing, especially the hummingbirds. When I come out in the morning, I come out really early and the hummingbirds just scatter off of this plant. So if you want, I would say the top hummingbird plant in the garden is going to be this Rockin' Blue Salvia. Again, this thing wouldn't be quite as tall and lanky, I think, if it was grown in full sun. So that might be a, something for next year. We'll probably put it in a sunny location. Now we take cuttings off this plant right about now. We're in September now, so we will take a few cuttings off of this, maybe about 6 or so. We'll root them. They root relatively easily, and then we'll overwinter those indoors through the winter time as house plants. We do have a little grow light that we help to assist the plants through the winter. Being here in Canada, the days get quite short in the winter time, so plants, they don't really get as much sunlight as they probably would appreciate. So we just supplement that. Even though they're going to be close to a window, we'll have a grow light that's going to supplement the light as well. And that keeps them happy through the winter, and that's all we have to do is keep them alive until next May. And once it warms up outside, then we keep potting them up as we get closer to May, and then we're ready to go put them out into the larger planters once the season starts. We do that with a lot of different plants, like some petunias and some of the Swedish ivies that we like, and just any plants like this salvia that we really appreciate. We'll just do the cuttings right now. You know, geraniums are one of those plants as well that people really like to keep over winter, and sometimes you just don't have the room for it. So what we'll do is, again, in September now, we'll start doing cuttings of all of our geraniums, and we'll get those rooted. So we'll just take about a 2.5 inch long tip cutting, and we'll strip off the bottom leaves, and just sometimes we'll use a little bit of rooting powder, and we just stick them in a pot with some moist potting soil, and then we're good to go. It really isn't difficult to do. They root over about 3 weeks, and yeah, you don't have to cover them or mist them or anything. Just keep the soil just moist, and they root beautifully, and they'll just overwinter like a little house plant. So having these little, it's probably more like a 3-inch pot is what we would use, and we would just overwinter those as little house plants. And you know what, they'll bloom indoors. Keep them in a nice sunny window, and again, if you have a grow light, that's always beneficial. But so the geraniums are awesome for that as well. So this time of year, this is when we do a bunch of cuttings, and we also just really enjoy the plants that are in full bloom right now, and they always seem to kick up and get super happy in September. I think it's mostly because the nights cool off and the days are still nice and warm. So that's the way it goes in the garden today, and I really do appreciate tuning in. Don't forget to listen to the garden show. Remember that we have that podcast that's on YouTube right here. You can look for it. It's called The Garden Show on Grower Coach, and you can check that out and listen to that. It's we've always have tips that are seasonal. It'll typically say right in the title, it'll say September gardening tips. We have them for every month of the year, so check it out and enjoy the garden show. So thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you again soon.